Well, hello everybody and welcome back again. This is Deborah Sawaf with the Power of Words brand. And today I have Chris Johnson giving us the power of his words. Welcome, Chris. Just to introduce Chris Johnson a little, he is an incredible ambassador, well, for us, but more importantly, Chris Johnson is a motivational speaker, NBA trainer. He's trained some of the best in the world, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Ben Simmons, to name a few. And about, what, 40 other players?
No, it's probably
or more,
thousands.
50,
Yeah,
60
more.
now. But thank you for being here with us, Chris, and thank you for sharing the power of words. I've always been such a great fan of the work you do, the way you train kids, not only kids and adults, the way you train especially kids, not only about being a really great athlete, but also developing your own mental well-being in your brain. And thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
What inspired you to be a part of the Power of Words to begin with?
Well, I mean, I love the work that you do and the work that we've done in the past with what we did with NBA All-Star, with the Power of Words, and I love the movement. I love what we're doing, and you know, my purpose and my life purpose is to help individuals go to places that they've never been before, and a lot of it starts with mental fitness. It's the same as physical fitness and trying to get them to match that together. So it's something that you got to get up and do every day.
That's amazing, and that's such a great message for young athletes, especially to keep them on track and doing the same thing. It's all about repetition. Mm-hmm. So we began with the brand and then moved on to the movement. It was going to be a movement anyway, and just developed impact. To me, impact is about the power of 7, and you are the power of 7. You've always been that energy in the room, and what, July 7th?
Yeah.
So you are 7 itself.
Yeah, I love the number 7. It's a very powerful number. I'm born in July. My life path number is 7. But, you know, when we spoke, we talked about the energy of 7. You know, it's 7 days in a week. You know, you talked about the 7 colors of the rainbow, and you can look at the different things that we spoke about. But I believe that it carries a certain energy here in our universe, and us as people give that energy to it.
Absolutely. You always give the energy in the room. When we talked about the 7 colors and 7 words, one of the most important words to me is magic. Mm-hmm. And I believe I've said this to you before. Every time we meet and every time you're in the presence of people, and I've been there, you always have magic at the surface. You always feel like you're magic. Like I usually say, believe you're magic when you walk into a room. Right. And I'm sure, like me, you believe that two people are never in a space for no reason. There's
Absolutely.
A divine reason for people being in the same space. So put out your magic. What keeps you so motivated all the time?
Being present, you know, staying in the moment, being where my feet are. And, you know, I get up every morning at 4:45 and I start with yoga, breath work, and meditation. And so it allows for me to really focus on putting one foot in front of the other. And a lot of times, you know, athletes, people that are CEOs, business owners, sometimes we plan so far ahead that we don't stay in the present moment. And so, you know, and we're chasing results. And so what I try not to do is I try to stay present. I try to stay in the moment today, and I try to focus on the process versus the end result. So that way I can actually listen, I can empathize with the people that I'm with, and I can be able to communicate very effective, you know, with great emotional intelligence. Just being present is probably the number one thing that I've learned and I've trained, and through mental fitness, being able to train yourself every day to just be where your feet are. And it allows for you not to become too anxious or to try to project or to interfere in the process.
So staying grounded, staying firm and on solid ground.
Absolutely.
Which is like the root chakra, which is warrior. So you're in constant warrior mode.
I'm ready to fight at all times.
Yeah, you had on a warrior jacket earlier. This one's brave. It's
this
the
brave
same thing.
jacket is this is an unbelievable jacket. I feel brave in it. I feel like I look good.
You always look good. You look amazing. You look amazing in gratitude as well. Because that's you, that's your personality.
That is my personality.
Always. We created the Power of Seven, and it's 7 words and 7 colors that tie to the 7 chakras. And you just talked about staying in the moment and being present. The principle behind the Power of 7 is to begin each day with intention. And what the bands do, they're bands that bond you. I wear a band. If I see you wearing a band and I don't know you, I will at least make eye contact because I know you're trying to express yourself. Because we say mental well-being is not just about the individual, it's about the community, and it's about understanding other people's emotions. So going back to staying focused, how do you think you would use, what would be your word for today, for example?
My word, I mean, I have a lot of words, but today...
from the 7.
Oh, from the 7. Let me see. Resilient.
Fantastic. Do you want to talk to me about resilient?
Yeah, I will talk about mental resilience.
Amazing.
Okay, and I think when it comes to resilient, it is something that you have to be very proactive with. So being resilient is not giving a response, right? I get to choose my response.
Yeah.
And it's being more proactive with the work that I do. And so resilience is something that every day we have to come with, because we're going to be faced with obstacles. You're going to be faced with things not going the right way. Maybe even on my drive over here, maybe there was, traffic. It could be anything, and you have to be resilient. And people can come into your space and they can bring not good energy. They can bring negative energy. So you have to be very resilient in choosing the right words, the power of words. So I would choose mental resilience.
Amazing. Thank you for that. It's funny, when we do the program, we always talk about how everybody expresses their words, but in how many different ways you can actually talk about each word. We have, I have someone that we work with, and he used resilient as well. But he said to me that he's an incredible tennis player, and said to me that he wears resilient because he wants to be able to be clean and healthy and focus on picking the right food, making the right choices for food. So every time he reaches out to grab something, he looks at resilient on his band and goes, okay, maybe it's not that, maybe it's this.
Absolutely.
So what we love to talk about is how many different ways you can express the same word. And when it's done in a group, it really brings to the surface ideas of how you can actually use simply one of the words, one of the 7 words. You work a lot with young people. You've got a son that plays basketball as well.
Absolutely.
How do you think kids manage their emotions these days? My focus is kids a lot because there's so much outside influence. There's social media more than anything else. And for young athletes, there's the pressure not just of having to play the game and doing really well. There's the pressure of the coach. Then there's the pressure of their parents, but there's also the pressure of the other kids' parents. What if you miss? You're getting slack from the other parents. How do you teach them to handle the outside pressure?
Well, I mean, it's funny that you bring that up. On Saturday, my son had his first basketball game of the season, right? And he has a lot of outside noise that we don't consider pressure, but like He's being recruited for colleges. He is the top player on his team. He was chosen team captain this year.
Congratulations.
And so through that, we talk about the process. And so preparing him for his performance, I explained to him that he has to get up and do it every day. And so it's not about the end results.
Yeah.
So I gave him what we call the 10-hour rule. And it's something that I've applied to my life, and I think it's so important for every parent, coach, mentor to go out and apply it. The 10-hour rule is simple. You have 10 hours after your performance. It could be any performance. It could be in the sports world, it could be in music, it could be an art show, it could be a podcast. You have 10 hours to reflect, plan, and pivot. So after his game, they lost the match. He played very well, and he had some moments where he could improve. So a lot of athletes go through this emotional roller coaster,
yeah.
and it plays heavy on the mental side of it. And what you want to do is you want to use the flush it mentality. We want to be able to flush it, to let it go. But you don't just let it go and move forward without reflecting, planning, and then pivoting. And so he was able to write down the things on his board, what he felt like he did very good. Not what I thought, but what he thought, what's his vision. Then he wrote down the things that he can improve on. Then he wrote down the plan of action. And then from that moment, after that 10 hours, we can't go backwards. So, life is played in the present. It's not in the past, it's not even in the future.
Yeah.
And so that's how we're able to create this plan, this platform for him to rinse and repeat. So after every performance, he's going to go through the 10-hour rule, and he's going to be able to measure himself. So at the end of the season, he's not depleted mentally. He's always engaged. Me working with the best players in the world, when people see the physical is 10%. How high you can jump, how fast you can run, whether you missed a shot or you made the shot.
How quick you can be. That's
how
your
quick
word.
you can be, yes.
Yes.
And so, but what they can't see is your brain. They can't see that muscle.
Exactly.
So we need plans that give us the strength to get to each day and to win that day. So that's my approach with my son. It's funny that you just asked, because we just spent Sunday, the day after the game, going through his 10-hour rule. And the exact same happened with my daughter, which won a volleyball state championship at Campbell Hall on Saturday. This was in the same day. So one wins a championship, and one loses.
Oh.
So
yeah.
The 10-hour rule applies to both.
Correct.
So you go through that process, and so that way you stay grounded. That's the power of words.
It is the power of your words. How young do you think you start implementing the 10-hour rule for young athletes?
Right away. I mean, you have Little League. You have Little League. It's a lot of habits that are created from the youth and the community coach. And
yeah.
That's who we really want to educate. Because winning and losing is really not that important. It's important to the scoreboard, it's important for the record books. But if we teach young kids, 5, 6, they start early, that they can focus on the process, those kids won't go through these different mental stages that people don't see. So they carry them. So you start at 5, 10 years old, 15, 16, and then when it's time to go to the NBA, you get to me.
Yes.
And I'm looking at you and I'm like, I see you, right? Like, hey, let's slow down. Like, you can't hide behind this great skill that you do, because it's eventually going to unravel. So when you see players that have had extreme success in sports, and then things start to unravel in front of the media, in front of the lights,
Yeah.
it's been unraveled. It's just their talent made people look away.
Exactly.
So we're not really helping those young student athletes develop and become a part of a community to be strong. And when the ball stops bouncing and you can't throw, you can't hit a baseball, you're going to be in the community.
Yeah.
And they're going to be raising kids. And they're going to be in business. They're going to be CEOs. They're going to be a part of big time companies. They're going to be on executive boards, you know, startups. They have to have the mental skill set. And so it's so important to start them very young. And that's one of my missions. That's our mission with Power Words, is to get into the community early and often and educate the adults, because we have to plant the seed with the adults that can be there on a daily basis. And then they can carry the torch in the community.
I love that you say that. I can't wait to begin this journey with you, Chris, simply because when we talk about the power of 7 and impact, and you know, I was saying to you, it's double impact to have you collaborate on, you know, really changing and impacting and creating these strong minds that can go out and be an entrepreneur. You can go out and be an athlete. You can go out and be a doctor. You can go out and be absolutely anything you want to be. But you need to be of sound mind and starting really, really young. Yeah. So thank you for saying that and putting out there, because we have so many young kids and young athletes that follow us and pay attention to us. And I'm sure paying attention to your words. And I watch you on a lot of the, you know, a lot of the shows empowering athletes. And I'm so grateful to have you here. We have so many things that we're looking forward to doing in the future. One of them is possibly, and we may or may not air this, one of them is possibly collaborating on fashion.
Yes.
So before we talk about collaborating on fashion, tell me about your new project. I was really excited. We talked about it a long time ago, and then you finally launched it. So let's hear the reveal.
So I'm a partner in Kane's Footwear, K-A-N Footwear, which I have on my feet.
I know. I looked at that.
And it's a therapeutic brand that's made for our feet. I'm always on my feet. When I'm on the court working with the players, and to have something that is therapeutic, that allows my feet to have comfort, was the first part of me being a part of the brand. The second part is they believed in my message of just win. So Just Win is my company, and win to me is what is important now. And so the shoe that we put together for mental fitness, my daughter designed it at 13.
I know she's an artist as well.
She's an artist, and she was able to put together a vision that we were able to bring to life. And this shoe is titled You versus You.
Okay.
So on the inside of the sole of the shoe, every time you put the shoe on, you're going to see this big logo that says You versus You.
Is that you competing with your best self?
Always. You know, we always look we're in a digital space, in a social media world. Sometimes you could be blinded by the way we're able to put together videos and things like that. So people begin to compare or to look at what other people's journeys look like. But at the end of the day, it's you versus you. You got to wake up and look at yourself in the mirror. You got to wake up and hold yourself accountable. Then you can create a community of accountability. Then you can create a community of people that can give you positive affirmations, plant the seeds, and build. And that's what the shoe's about. When you put these shoes on, the first thing you should see is this you versus you. And I want to trigger to your brain like, hey, let's be the best version of myself today.
Absolutely. Congratulations on that. And You versus You. By the way, guys, girls and guys, the shoe sold out. So if you're really interested, go back and get on the wait list or do whatever it takes. Take whatever's left, because they did sell out as soon as he launched. And congratulations on that. What do you foresee for collaboration with the Power of Words? For product, that is.
Oh, I think the collaboration is unlimited. I mean, obviously you're super talented and your vision is so clear. You know, when you have clear vision and you have talented people working together, I mean, the sky's the limits, right? And so for me, I love wearing your vision. So when I put on the clothes, you know, I feel, you know, really special. I feel like I look good and I fit good, and then it represents what we see, our vision, and that's where collaboration is for me. Me collaborating with you is about more so your thought process and vision versus any type of project, because we can do any project together, right?
No, thank you, and I can't wait to get this party started, so to speak. Well, congratulations. Please follow Chris on Chris Hoops.
Yeah, Chris Johnson Hoops.
Chris Johnson
Yeah, because
Hoops.
Chris Johnson is a very common name. I know my mom.
Quarterback.
Yeah, it's so many. It's like a million Chris Johnsons. So the only thing that we can add to is Chris Johnson Hoops, and that's on all platforms.
That's amazing. So, and also I think if you have a chance, go in and listen to Chris Johnson's words, because the power of his words is what impacted me, and I'm really grateful to have him on my court, so to speak.
Yes, I love it.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for the power of your words.